Hello, everyone. This is Ishan Shahane from Revsportz, and welcome to Beyond the Boundary. Today, with us, we have Mumbai cricketing legend, former international cricketer, and the founder of IISM, an institute that I've been a part of, and I'm extremely proud to be a part of. Nilesh, sir, thank you so much for joining. I know you've been extremely busy, and I've been behind your back, but you made some time for me, and I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ishan, for inviting me. I think you're doing a wonderful job, and it's good to see our own students grow into from a student to a journey. It's so satisfying for all of us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. But I think everybody out here is more interested about your journey. So we all know you as the founder of ISM, but let's rewind a bit. Let's talk about that cricketing journey. Where did cricket happen? Where did it start? So let's begin with that, and then we'll talk about ISM.
See, like every Mumbaiker as a kid, the impact was obviously the 83 World Cup win for India. Obviously, that influenced a lot for me to pick up cricket and try and aspire to make a career in it. Coming from a small town, Dombivli, where the cricket was played less, but the exposure was fairly decent in terms of tennis ball cricket, not so much into a season ball cricket. I was fortunate to get into a bowling scheme through which I'm sure your dad also will vouch for it that we all grew up in. And that probably made a huge impact and made us realize that yes, you can seriously make a career in cricket because Frank Tyson sir was part of that bowling scheme and made sure that he took all of us under his
Yeah.
wings and gave us a direction in those days which was extremely needed for us, because now things are more organized, structured, but in those days, it was you like sport, you play sport, whether you end up making a career, it was all about in a darker side of that thought. But fortunately, we had Frank sir who guided us and made sure he made us believe, and then we had Ballu sir and Jayanti sir who helped us sail through all these ups and downs also. So that's how my journey started because I was playing school cricket in Dombivli. I competed there for Thane district tournaments also, and then subsequently, as everyone grows, under 15, under 17, under 19, and then into Ranji Trophy, was the journey I also had playing in the local crickets, the Maidans, the company cricket, obviously the club cricket. Everything was a journey for me.
That's true. And you're right on the part of having a mentor to guide you. I think that's very important. And talking about mentors, you must have had idols as well. As a young cricketer growing up in Bombay, who were your idols? Who were some of the players you looked up to? And what
So
inspiration did you take from them?
I always looked up to Ravi Shastri as a left arm spinner because obviously Ravi was part of the '83 World Cup and then he was doing exceedingly well. Obviously, so for me, and being a tall left arm spinner himself, I could resonate a lot of things as challenges, as opportunities. So, growing up, Ravi Shastri was something which I always looked up to and always wanted to emulate something which he was trying to achieve. So that made me, fall in love with left arm spin, fall in love with cricket, and
Wow.
then I started pursuing that as a career.
Nilesh sir, but I have to ask you, I've always wanted to ask you, with your height and physique, nobody suggested that you can be a fast bowler, a menacing fast bowler.
See, what happened was when I was growing up, I was a very skinny boy.
Okay.
And in those days, I did not have so much height. So the option was to bowl fast, develop an injury, or pick up something which you can be really good at. And I
Yeah.
picked up spin, and suddenly I shot up about almost 8 to 9 inches. And then I just had to adjust and
Right.
adapt. So it purely happened accidentally.
Right, right, okay. And you were part of the Mumbai team. The Mumbai team is still very strong. At that time, it was probably even stronger. And a lot of people have often told me that getting into the Mumbai squad is in fact harder than getting in the Indian team. So you've been part of that team. So what was the team ethos of that time, and how was the how were the boys together? If you could just tell us a bit about that.
Sure, I know got into team when Ravi Shastri was captain.
Okay.
Then I established myself when Sachin Tendulkar and Sanjay Manjrekar were the captains of Mumbai team. So as you rightly mentioned, getting into Mumbai team A was a challenge. B, the bigger challenge was to establish yourself in the team.
Yeah.
Because when you have such stalwarts into your side, you're competing against a lot of quality cricketers. And to make sure that you stamp your authority, the job description for us bowlers was to get 5 wickets almost every inning. Not It's not possible, but The expectations were like that.
Yeah.
So the ethos and the practice culture was such, you will not believe in 90s we would end up taking more than 200 catches every single day
Wow. Wow.
in the practice sessions. And as the testimony is, in the full season, we only dropped one catch and ended up picking up all the catches. So I think this was the culture. The top players like Sachin Tendulkar, Sanjay Manjrekar, Vinod Kamli, would take the burden of batting. And then us bowlers like Abhi Kurvilla, Paras Mahamre, Salil Ankola, Sairaj, myself, we would end up taking the burden of bowling unit.
Yes.
So, it was all complementing each other. And we in fact, in a couple of years, we finished most of the matches in 2.5 days.
True.
Such was the dominance.
Wow. And you talked about, making your authority felt, like, being felt. It's a ridiculous feat, but you have three 10-wicket hauls and 24 5-wicket hauls in first class cricket, which is just, it blows my mind. So if there's a young boy in a Mumbai Maidan who wants to take inspiration from you, what advice would you give him to get, these big wickets on a consistent basis? Because it's ridiculous. I mean, three 10 wickets haul, I was really surprised to, figure that out. But
See, I
you're
think
also getting
beauty
a lot of
of
wickets. Yeah,
yeah, the beauty of this thing is that you should be hungry enough to get more wickets. As always, it has been said that as a batter, your job is to get 100 runs for your team. But
yeah,
as a bowler, it's your job to get 5 wickets for the team. And it's always the bowlers who win matches because you have to take 20 wickets in a match in the
true.
longest format of cricket. So if you're mentally tuned in, if you're preparing to go the hard yards, a lot of people become contented with 3, 4 wickets.
Yeah,
You should be hungry enough to make sure that you run through a side.
absolutely.
And 5 wickets is like getting 100 for the team. 150 is like getting 7 wickets. 9 wicket is 200. So
Yeah,
if you prepare yourself to run through a side and be that lead bowler, the rest of the things just follow with you because when you start taking up those responsibilities on the field as part of your job description,
yeah,
then you just need to focus on the job on your hand. That's for me, that's how I looked at it. My job was in any team, whether I play for the club, whether I play for the school cricket, whether I play for the company or for the first class. I always took it up me saying that I have to win the match for the team,
wow,
and I
okay.
have to make sure that I get 5 wicket haul to put our team into that position to win the matches. I mean, if you prepare your mind, and obviously you need to really work hard on your skills to make sure that it complements your mind thoughts,
Yes, yes.
because you really need to have that skill and then constantly work upon those skills, because then only you will be able to achieve the excellence.
True. So you credit a lot of it to preparation with your talent because you can't just have the talent and not prepare at all. So that would mean you're not getting any wickets at all, right? I mean, a lot of players have to prepare, practice, and perfect practice, like they say.
See, I remember when we were growing up, keeping the ball down in a net session was never an option for you.
Hmm.
You are asked to bowl start to end in your net practice.
Yeah.
So you're mentally preparing, you're constantly in every moment of the ball you bowl. So these are the things which we grew up in as a culture. Right now, I see a lot of modern day thoughts where you bowl 40 balls, 50 balls, and then put it aside. According to me, that does not give you the patience that allows you to deviate. That's good for a white ball
Yeah.
cricket. But for more so red ball cricket, if you want to acquire a skill or develop a skill, I was having a chat with Muthai Muralidharan some time back, and he was saying that he worked on a Dusra for almost 2 years before he
Wow.
introduced into his international career.
Yes.
And Muthaya being a legend, it took him year and a half, 2 years to be confident enough to start applying that in a match. I mean, overnight, there's no
Doesn't
success in
happen.
cricket. If you
Yeah.
have to, really, you have to go those hard yards
Yeah.
to A, the skill you have, you need to develop that, but B, you need to acquire additional skill to counter the
Count.
batters who are thinking constantly against you. So I think these are the areas which I develop myself, and I share that with all the youngsters.
Absolutely, you're right. And let's move to international cricket. You've gotten a wicket on your first ball. I've seen that video a few times before. I saw it again yesterday. And again, just beautiful. I saw that expression on your face, completely ecstatic. So, did you go back to your time when you were playing for Mumbai as a young boy, like, or were you just blank in that moment? What were you feeling? Take us through that moment of it, because that's just special again.
Of course, it is special. But first thing first, more than that wicket, when you get a call up to play for India,
Yeah.
probably that was the biggest moment for me. When you get selected, the call comes from BCCI that you are selected. That was one of the biggest moment for me in my cricketing journey, because you all work hard for that moment. And coming to that first ball wicket, I think I was not supposed to bowl that over.
Okay.
Rajesh Chauhan and Anil Kumble were bowling in tandem, and as luck would have it, I think Marwan Atapattu took a single on the fifth ball or the sixth ball of the over
Yeah.
of Anil Kumble, and Rajesh Chauhan was supposed to bowl that last over. I was crossing over from my one fielding position to another, and
Okay.
suddenly I hear Sachin as the captain saying, "Nilesh, come and bowl the last over." So, generally when you're making a debut, a captain tells you 1 hour in advance to prepare, warm it
Yeah.
up, everything. As luck would have it, when I gave my cap to the umpire, he said, "You have to bowl first ball within a minute. Otherwise, I'm calling it a day."
Oh,
So I
okay.
did not have any preparatory work to think about what to do. The only thought, and if you see that video, you will
Yeah.
realize that I was doing stretching because I was asked to bowl the first ball within 30 seconds. So
Okay.
the things
So you had no
in my
time to
mind,
process it. Yeah.
I had no time to prepare or process anything. My only thought process was, do not embarrass yourself at the international level when you're bowling the first ball. Because I've seen some of the videos.
Yeah.
A lot of people they fell down, they bowled a different ball. So I
Yeah.
was just thinking about making sure that I don't embarrass myself, my parents, and everyone who believed in me. So as luck would have it, I bowled that ball which fell in the right area. Marwan Adapattu went for an expansive
Hmm.
drive.
And
Ryan Mongia took a
hey,
brilliant
yeah.
catch, and the rest is history.
So in a way, it
I
was
did
meant
not,
to be.
yeah, I had no idea that it was part
Yeah.
of the record. Till the time in those days, the reporters came and brought it to my notice saying that it's part of the world record.
Wow. It was definitely meant to be. And I think all of us are happy that it happened as well. Nilesh, so would you say the
Absolutely.
jump from domestic to international cricket is a tough one for, like, if there's a youngster who's seeing this at the moment, would he have to prepare differently if he's moving on to international cricket? Or
Compared to those days to now, possibly nowadays it's a lot easier because you
easy?
are exposed to a lot of India A games.
Yeah.
You're playing IPLs, you're rubbing shoulders with the top players to understand how they're preparing, how
Yeah.
they are approaching the games. So things are a lot different now with the introduction of modern day cricket, and especially the IPL has given an opportunity to a youngster to be in the dressing room with the top players and understand likes of Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, understand how they're approaching the game. So when they get introduced to international cricket, things are a lot easier. In those days, it was slightly challenging because the transition from first class cricket to international cricket was a different introduction altogether.
True.
So things are a lot easier now in terms of the pathways are clear. You play consistent first class cricket. You are called up to play India A, and then allowed you to travel to overseas, experience the different conditions, understand the challenges, prepare well. So
Yeah.
when you get into Indian team, things become a lot easier.
Absolutely. And another thing, sir, I've noticed is that the pitches are have become more spinner friendly as well in a way. Even in the previous test matches, we've seen the ball turn a big way. So do you think if you had those sort of pitches in your time, it would have been a difference, or you think it's just the same? And it's just
See, I think
chalk at the end of the day.
there is no substitute for ifs and buts in life, and in
Yeah.
cricket for sure. I've had good career. I have no regrets.
Yeah.
There is no in my dictionary, in my book, I don't believe in having if those days would have allowed turning track, I probably would have had more career. I had the opportunity. I probably failed not to capitalize on that, so I got dropped. I look at life differently. I look at cricket differently, and many people may not like this, but I still believe that as a bowler, my job is to bowl and get 5 wickets, whether it's on a turning track, on a flat track, or any other conditions offered. I failed in those conditions, hence I was dropped from the team, and I
Hmm.
just have to accept that and move on in life.
That's true, and that's inspiring to know as well. I've always seen you, and you've always been extremely fit. You're fit now, you're fit then as well. So, what was your fitness regime back then, and has it changed now, or are you working out at all, or it's just good genes?
I no no not genes. You need to work hard. You
Yeah,
need to genuinely 50. You definitely need to take some
yeah,
effort to make yourself you're fitter also. I'm not doing as much as I used to do. ISM keeps me busy. You guys, when
Hmm.
you were student, also made me kept me on toes all the time in the college also.
Yes.
But I try and manage to take out some time to put a thought on my fitness, my daily routines. I do a bit of a
Yeah.
yoga also nowadays.
Wow.
Twice a week I go for a jog or a brisk walk. So some activities you need to indulge into because the old habits don't die quickly.
True.
To maintain those things, you need to continue doing something or the other because if your body is fit, your mind is fresh.
True.
And I need my mind fresh when I'm working.
Absolutely. I mean that makes complete sense. There's been one cricket question that has come my way from our viewers because you've been a spinner. Between Akshar Patel and Ravindra Jadeja, who do you think is technically better and more suited for the red ball and white ball format, according to you?
Ravindra Jadeja for sure,
Okay.
because Ravindra Jadeja has got all the right things going his way for red ball cricket
Yeah.
to a large extent. His bowling position, his wrist positions, his delivery angles are more suited for a red ball cricket, and that's the result. Ravindra Jadeja has been more successful in red ball cricket as a leading wicket taker for India, along with R. Ashwin over the
Absolutely.
years. And that's something which I always look forward to in a good bowler. Of course, Akshar Patel has his own advantages. He's tall. On a turning track, he bowls. He sometimes underspins also. So some balls will spin, some
Hmm.
ball will skid. But if you have to ask me one bowler who I would support or back, it's going to be Ravindra Jadeja because he's got all the ingredients which are required to succeed in red ball cricket.
Absolutely. And a very handy batsman as well. So it works out
And a
both ways.
brilliant hitter.
Yeah, gun fielder, yes. You mentioned Ashwin as well. India is playing England very soon. So your thoughts on R. Ashwin in the test match?
Well, obviously champion bowler, and India, R. Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja are like the formidable duo for the English cricketers to even start preparing themselves because it's going to be a long series, long hard fought series, and when these two champions are bowling in tandem, very little margin
Right.
for you
Absolutely.
have. And it'll be very interesting to see because English cricket with this new word buzzball is going
Hmm.
to be very very interesting because if they're not going to hold back to anything to
Yeah.
R Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja, it'll be very very interesting scenes to see because in Test cricket you're always looking forward to these contests between a good bat and a good ball,
Yeah.
and when they are going aggressive cricket with these two bowlers as champion bowlers, they love to dominate the batting unit. It's going to be very, very fun to
Going to be a
watch.
fun watch. Yes, you're right. Let's talk a bit about IISM now, because that's another journey altogether. And I was part of it, and I'm very grateful that I was a part of that institute. So, talk about that journey. How did ISM, hit you first? Where did that thought come from? And it's gone on to do so well, and it's so good to see as well, being a former student. So, just let's talk about that journey because that's a very emotional journey for me as well, and I would want to know the backstory of it.
Absolutely. I think purely accidental thought came into my mind because I did not get an IPL contract when I was finishing my cricketing career. When I was trying to explore a couple of options in my life.
Hmm.
Me and my wife went to watch a match at DY Patil, and I saw a lot of English faces managing an event like IPL in those days.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, can't we find 500 professionals to manage an event like IPL? And the answer was no in those days. And
Hmm.
that's how the journey of ISM started because we thought that this is a need where India had managed to get a annual property. The overall worldwide, if you see, sporting properties establishes sporting culture in the
Yeah.
country. The annual properties and form of IPL, India got its first. Since the inception of IPL, India's got 15 annual properties.
Yeah.
And the idea was to create that bandwidth, that manpower, that resource, that expertise to deliver what is expected at the international level.
Yes.
And that's how we started creating a content because even in those days, we did not have any content available to
True.
refer to.
True.
All the content was overseas content. Without no disrespect to that, the Indianization did not happen.
True.
And for me, that was another challenge in terms of how you're looking at it in a different lens. And so, almost a year and a half, we started traveling, collecting information, compiling a lot of stuff. And before we introduced in 2010, the actual belief was that to be the differentiator and a bridge for industry to have a expertise resource available for the
Yeah.
expectations they have. And that's how the journey started. And then eventually we got into an association with Mumbai University. Mumbai
Yeah.
University was kind enough to accept our proposal and create a dedicated nomenclature. Government of India, we took a lot of effort reaching out to Government of India, and I'm grateful to UGC and Education Ministry of India,
True.
who then subsequently accepted our request to create a dedicated nomenclature for sports education in India.
Wow. Wow. Yes.
So
I
now
have
new
to say
degree.
firsthand, it's gotten better and better, Nilesh. I mean, I've been there and I'm seeing it now as well. It's just growing and growing, and it's just so good to watch. So, congratulations to you and the whole team as well, sir.
Thank you for, it's the students who make us good,
Yeah.
look good. And like students like yourself who are doing wonderful in the industry makes us feel satisfied that we are on the right path of giving the wings to your dreams
Yeah.
who want to make a career in sports in India.
Thank you, sir. If I had to ask you, what would be the 5-year goal plan for ISM? Where would you want to take ISM and where would you want to see your students, like you mentioned? What would that be?
Obviously, I think with the Honorable Prime Minister of India have already announced that he wishes to have Olympics in India by
Yeah.
36. If we have to go by that as our challenge, there's a great opportunity because now sport is definitely getting well established with Government of India, supporting Sports Authority of India, federations, bodies, all the Olympic sport, Paralympic sport, Winter Olympic sport getting due recognitions along with cricket. So I think sport is here to stay. And with regards to ISM, obviously our constant endeavor is to focus on the quality, create more quality workforce, consistently live up to the expectations of the industry and the students and parents. That's the focus area. We are obviously in the pipeline of introducing a couple of more programs which are industry driven. And with the NEP introduction now, obviously the changes have already taken place internally also. And according to me, the entry exit options which are offered to students, sport is one profession where
Yeah,
everyone loves but probably never had the opportunity to make a career.
absolutely.
And according to me, one of the key areas which probably will grow hugely in India is the sports science space in next 5 years.
I couldn't
We've
agree.
already introduced sports science degree now, and the specialization of biomechanics, exercise science, health and wellness, nutrition, psychology,
Yeah.
kinesiology, all these streams will definitely give more opportunities for aspiring professionals to make a satisfying, successful career in sports.
I couldn't agree more, sir. And I have to say, I think your cricketing journey has helped you. So what are those lessons that you've taken away from the game that you've put into ISM, and which is the reason why it's growing so much? There has to be that because it's often said that you learn so much more outside the classroom as well, and you played all your life. And so, what are those skills that you've learned which you've applied over here?
See, first thing first, cricket taught me never to give up.
Yeah,
Second most important thing is learning from the failure. Do not be afraid of being failed. Because as our honorable president, ex-honorable president of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, officially quoted, and I quote, saying that he has beautifully defined fail is your first attempt in learning. So why run away from failure when you can accept it and learn from it? The only constant endeavor you should think about is not to make a mistake or repeat that mistake.
true.
Third most important point, what I believed in is always set a goal higher than what you can achieve. Because if you set a goal higher, you strive harder to achieve that goal. And these are the learnings which I've had from cricket, apart from the regular hygienes of the team lead, the leadership qualities, the critical thinking, the crisis management, the risk assessment, all the management lessons
Yeah.
what you guys have learned in the book, we have learned it on the job. And I've learned that to apply that into my workplace. I always said that to you students when I was interacting with you. I say that officially now to everyone. After finishing my cricket, I love my Mondays because I love what I do and I enjoy what I do. I
Yes.
hate Sundays because I don't get the chance to come to college.
Yeah.
And if you start enjoying what you do,
Yeah.
trust me, the life journey is beautiful.
Absolutely. I think that's beautifully put. And that the lesson is to enjoy what you do, which is most important. So you can look forward to your Mondays. My final question for you, sir. What is that one value that your parents, or maybe it's a friend who's instilled in you, which you would want to pass on? I know there might be a lot of values, but if you had to give away one to a young boy or a young girl, what would that be?
one etho or the line which I've always followed when I was playing cricket, and I share that with every student of mine, and it's part of one of the wall which is there in our college also, is that if you know your strength, that's your asset. But if you know your weakness, that's your strength. And if you start following those, because nobody's perfect in this world,
Yeah.
but start assessing yourself well, and you'll have a better journey and a fruitful, enjoyable journey.
Nilesh, sir, thank you so much. That was beautiful. I don't think it could have been put in any better way. I've had the best time talking to you, and it was really good seeing you after so long. Thank you.
Thank you, Ishar, for having me, and wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.